Hi, I'm Bailey Bennett Andrade, DEI Media Marketer. In the following presentation, you will hear from co-founder of the center, Dolores Lindsay, as she answers the question, what do I do when I don't know what to do?
Welcome. My name is Dolores Lindsay, and I'm delighted to see you today. We're going to talk about a pretty interesting question. What do you do when you don't know what to do? This has come to me over my years of being a school administrator, county office administrator, and a professor of educational administration. Students in our ed admin programs would say, well, Dr. Lindsay, what do we do? And I'd say, what do you mean? Well, what do we do when we don't know what to do? And my response has always been take a deep breath, breathe in, and think about that's a good question. Questions are better answers than answers. People come to us as leaders because they see us as experts. We don't always have the answers, and questions are better responses than thinking you might have the answer. Now, if somebody rushes to you and says, where's the fire extinguisher? Tell them where the fire extinguisher is. Don't stop to think, now, what question might I ask? Or how might I paraphrase that question? Sometimes you just need to have the answer. But in most cases, people are asking questions of you, the leader, because they're stuck. They're stuck in the ways of, we've always done it this way. And when they're stuck, it doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't mean they really don't know what to do. It just means they're stuck. And they're usually stuck in certainty and predictability. And what to do when you don't know what to do is ask a question about possibilities. And the way that I would suggest today and recommend is that you use the 5 essential elements of cultural proficiency to get them unstuck. And we call those questions breakthrough questions. And I'm not doing a clinic on breakthrough questions today, but the 5 essential elements, one of the tools of cultural proficiency, if you can learn those 5 verbs, then that will guide you to ask some pretty powerful questions. It may sound like something like when someone comes to you and says, well, I don't know what to do when people call me a racist, or I don't know what to do when people say, what am I going to say to that group when they interrupt when I'm giving my cultural proficiency presentation? And then your response might be, so you're confused about what to do sometimes when people interrupt, and you're looking for a response for that, looking for a way to respond. And they'll say, yeah, I'm confused about that. And so a response for you then, what might be some things we could work on together as a team to come up with some questions or some standard questions that we could ask when these kinds of things happen and interrupt? What might be some ways that we can respond without upsetting folks when they ask those upsetting questions? So, what you're trying to do is ask a question that opens the thinking, the creativity, or it may be that we just haven't thought about it yet. So, what to do when you don't know what to do is ask about in what ways have we assessed that response? What might that look like if we assessed in a different way? You might ask, how have we shown that we value the students in our community? And what might be some additional ways we could demonstrate our value for all of our community members? You might then ask, what might be some ways we could manage our staff members when they interrupt? Or what might be some ways we could manage the strategies that we're using when we have these interruptions? You might then ask, um, given the changing demographics in our communities, how might we adapt our own strategies to meet the needs of our community. And that's that essential element of adapting to change, because we know the barriers, we know what those barriers are. It's the systems of oppression, it's the systemic racism that's already there in our system long before we got here. It's the privilege and entitlement that gets in the way, that we sometimes don't even know it's there, because we, as those who are privileged by the system, we don't have to know it, we don't have to see it, so we don't see it. So by asking, and I don't mean asking someone, believe me, I've tried this. You don't ask someone, so have you always been a racist, or is this something new? That's not going to get you anywhere. That's not the kinds of questions that I'm asking. So I'm asking you to think about, what kinds of questions might you ask to help people think about what to do when you don't know what to do. Thank you.